Right. Germany round 3. Definitely quite the round. Let's go back to UK2 here. 2 infantry, a tank, and 2 fighters for the United Kingdom here. Tank, 2 infantry to India. 2 fighters to United Kingdom. Attacked Egypt and got some of the worst dice I've seen. I held on. Infantry, artillery held on against 2 infantry, 1 bomber, 1 tank. I'll definitely take that. That's awesome. If it does feel good to get some good dice every now and again. My game against Elric did not go very well, so very happy to see this. And then lost a fighter killing my cruiser in 7. So hit back galore for the Germans here. Very, very nice outcome. But especially Egypt, that is quite brutal. Alright. Japan here. Before I get ahead of myself, the UK stacked 10 and stacked 34, trying to wipe out Egypt. It is bringing everything back, including the submarine. So yeah, this is all hands on deck to try and go for Germany here, but yeah, well, you can see the map. Game looks very decisive for the Axis. Yeah, so 2 transports and artillery and 5 infantry for the Japanese. 2 transports to 60 and everything else into Japan. Tank Blitz Szechuan. Took a bunch of undefended territories. Took Burma, no units lost, and then attacked Kazakh with a tank, 6 fighters, and a bomber. So since the UK did their best move, I think, and was put their fighters in Russia to protect the artillery, whether or not he was aware of it or aware of what Japan was planning, which was to air raid Moscow, is another story, but that is their best move. So Japan went for the 3 infantry in Kazakh, 2 American, 1 Russian, and killed them all, losing no planes, and then stacked the Caucasus with their planes. And then Japan moved down to stack 36 to ensure that the UK could not block the Japanese Navy and build a fleet and try and pivot to a quick KJF. So yeah, that fleet should be dealt with. I would expect this to run away. Or he might go for a miracle win on the fleet. I don't think that's going to work though. They need to put all their fighters in range to defend it. To defend Moscow. The Americans, no combat and bought 3 transports, 5 infantry, 1 artillery. So yeah, there's been no combat for the Americans so far. Yeah, definitely agree with that buy. Just need as many transports as possible. Yeah, spawn everything on the eastern coast. Stacked 10. So they're going to force their way through to at least 8. Maybe 3. I can still dead zone 3 pretty well, so they might just come down to 8 to offer like a favourable battle on 3 and hope I get diced. We'll see what happens. For the most part, my fighters will be taken up by the G4 attack on Moscow. For the most part. So they could probably get away leaving half a fleet here. And just expand everywhere they can. To force Germany to start trading as soon as possible. And land hard and heavy. And pray that I take heavy hitbacks. Or go for a France stack. Right, yeah, send sent a fighter to Moscow. Yeah, prepping to land. Russia obviously hit the Caucasus here and brought 5 infantry, 2 artilleries, and lost everything hitting the Caucasus. Alright, so there was a minor mistake on my part. I forgot to change my doctrine to bombers before tanks. But it worked out pretty well for the Axis here. So Japan keeps most of its air force, which is excellent. So Russia lost absolutely everything. Killing 10 tanks, an artillery, 10 infantry, and 2 fighters. 4 fighters and a bomber lived to stand. Now, the overall combat, since Japan pulled off that move here, was a 43.1% chance for Russia to conquer the Caucasus back. 56.5% for the defenders to survive and hold. And has a 14.5 IPC profit for the Allies. So it was a profitable battle for the Russians here. Now, obviously Russia lost, but the average result for the Axis here was 2 fighters and a bomber left. So the Axis got a top. That is a top 40% result. It's not overly ridiculously one-sided dice, but it's still above average. We'll definitely take that. And that's pretty much sealed the game from the way I see it. G4, Japan 4 timing on Russia is looking very, very good for us. Germany has a very strong attack, and Japan doesn't have has a pretty good attack as well for themselves. To the point where I think Germany is going to have the luxury to actually leave Moscow for Japan to take, possibly, depending on how the dice go. Considering the situation, it doesn't actually matter who owns Moscow. It's so early on in the game that Germany can conquer it, despite it being a kill Germany game. So, and if I conquer it, I mean the German income's just going to get out of control completely, and the Allies can't really pressure what Germany's doing into Africa as well. So because they have to go all in against Germany now. So yeah, it's definitely a very one-sided show right now. I'm not seeing what the Allies can do, but we're just going to go for Moscow. Not play around. I'll go all in with everything I have to make sure that Moscow falls. So yeah. For the Germans, I'm thinking of 9 infantry, 2 artilleries, 2 tanks. 2 tanks to Karelia, 2 infantry, 2 artilleries to the Caucasus. Then just 7 infantry, well, 5 infantry to Berlin, 2 to Italy. So I have the option to send more to Africa. Or more to the Caucasus. And all I'm going to do is just take Transjordan. I think I'm going to block the tank blitz. I forget what I'm doing down here. I did go through it. I've forgotten. Stack the Caucasus and West Russia and take Vologda. That's pretty much it. Germany is just making a ridiculous amount of money. I'm going to have roughly 54 IPC to bank after this turn. I was thinking of coming into 16 to bring more men, but the UK could just kill my battleship. I'd rather... The US can still attack it, but with only 2 planes instead of the UK's 3. And I'm going to block and push these guys forward and stack. He still has 2 infantry and a fighter. That's a very difficult battle for the UK here. These guys will go here. Japan will just move their air force to cover. Basically, that's it. That is it for combats. There is no combat. It's slightly, I mean, there's 2 artilleries here, so it's probably going to be slightly profitable if the UK wins that. So be it. Yeah, just run away. Alright, I think this will be the German moveset here. I'm going to just consolidate, like, Russia cannot afford to take any of this stuff. They're on its own right now. I mean, he can't hit it anyway. It will be 96 on its own, so I don't expect that to go very well. SAC AA, if the UK wants to try and air raid anything, he wants to try and hit this. I mean, I'm gonna have 6 land units protecting this aircraft. The UK is just not gonna be able to do any dent on this stack here. He'll get wiped within 2 rounds definitely, and he won't even chew through my infantry for the most part. So if he does that, then that's less protectors for Moscow. I'm not seeing what the Allies can really do. I'm just gonna consolidate here and here. The Allies have no odds on this stuff. I'm gonna bring everything back into Berlin. I think the only move that the Allies have is just to stack France either as hard as they can to give me a choice whether to take Moscow or wipe out his France stack, but taking out Moscow this early on will always be the choice for me, and the my aircraft will return to Berlin soon. They won't be able to take Berlin soon after they've taken France and stacked it. It's just not going to work. So, and Germany's making so much money, it's not even funny at this point. All Japan would really have to do is just fly their air to Moscow, to Berlin, and yeah, that's pretty much game, and just slowly work towards India and Hawaii, and slowly take the eco advantage and threaten a point cap on VC win if they don't want to give up after that. Yeah, I'm not going to move anything forward. I'm just going to build stacking material and hold in Berlin. 2 tanks, 2 artillery, 2 infantry, 2 infantry and 5 infantry there. And that'll do for the Germans. Yeah, 54 income, that's monstrous for a G3. And yeah, the UK is going to struggle to clamp down on this. I can trade this for several turns. I guess the US, it's probably just going to have to try and kill my battleship now with these 2 planes. But even so, that's less defenders for Moscow, right? So it's like, they can't touch the battleship, I don't think. Yeah, Germany already outnumbers the Russians in units and air power. The only thing that can really affect my odds is how many planes he shoots down with the AA guns. We'll see, won't we? Anything can happen in this dice game. But yeah, let's have a look at this. Yeah, it's inflated because it's just been Germany's turn, but that's more than enough of an AP lead to be very decisive for the Axis. Alright, yeah, that's the end of Germany round 3, and I'll be back for Germany round 4.